thank you everyone online and in person for coming to our first mock conference. So for those online, you do have to create an account to have comments read. Now I know why I didn't get confused. But at the end, we read any questions or comments you may have. So MALUN is this group we have on campus. It's not part of student activities, it's more a departmenting where we go on conferences to Philadelphia, Boston, or even locally to Columbia University, where it's basically a contest with a bunch of people from abroad, and we discuss issues that are brought up in actual UN. So today our topic is electric cars. We have different countries, Japan, Germany, and Qatar. So the purpose of this event is to get people interested in the club, to see what it's about, what we kind of do. And yes, so my role, I am the moderator. So basically, I'm gonna be like running the procedural stuff. And then there are delegates. And Giselle will explain what a delegate does.
Yeah, so delegates are basically the members of the club, besides the chair or the moderator, and each of us are assigned a country, and we're supposed to represent that country. So when we want to speak, we'll say, the delegate of Germany would like to pose a question, something like that, just so they know what country you're from and what your role is. And it's a little bit about debating, and it's kind of just going back and forth with the different countries that are here on that specific topic. Just like what the UN does, that it deals with like international, global issues, is the same thing that we do here.
So we're just gonna dive into it a little bit. We won't take too long, we'll just show like a little example. Thank you.
So before we start, we are first going to introduce ourselves. Probably should have done that before. So my name's Giselle. I'm going to be a senior now.
Hey guys, my name is Guanto. I'm also going to be a senior, and I'm representing Qatar.
And my name is Renania. I'm also going to be a senior, and I'm representing the country of Japan.
And my name is Ana Garcia. I'm also going to be a rising senior, and I'm the moderator for today.
So today's assembly is going to be a general assembly, and like Emily mentioned, our topic is electric cars, the benefits and disadvantages of having electric cars and how they impact the big oil-based countries where their economy is based off of oil and the sale of oil. So to start, I would like to motion to open the floor for debate. If we could have a 1 minute and 30-second round robin with 30-second speaking time for each country to state their position. So a round robin is just where countries get to state their positions in a certain issue. So that's typically what we always start with at these conferences.
All those in favor for a round robin for 1 minute with 30 speaking time? 30-second speaking time? Okay, that passes. Who would like to go first? Germany. Okay. Yeah, floor.
Okay, so the delegation of Germany wants to speak on our position on electric cars. I don't know if you guys have heard, but Germany is very into environmentally friendly policies. We have established many policies that have helped us change to a more renewable source of energy. In 2011, we had 17 nuclear power plants, which by 2022 will be reduced to 0. We will no longer be using nuclear power. In 2014, we updated the Renewable Energy Act drastically, and this allowed us to...
Your time is up.
Oh, sorry, my time's up. Who wants to go next?
Japan?
Ladies and gentlemen of the Assembly, the delegation from Japan would like to introduce their stance on electric cars. So this delegation from Japan, in our country, we have a large investment in hybrid cars, and we want to delay the use of electronic cars as much as possible, knowing that our companies, like Toyota, have made our first electronic car late last year. And while we do want to expand into having no more gas cars, we want to do that in the next couple of years, and we want to produce our first car. Thank you.
Next speaker, Qatar.
Dear delegates, the Republic of Qatar would like to introduce the position on environmental sustainability. Basically, Qatar embraces the fight of global climate change. We are in affirmative of electric car. We believe that electric car is a huge step to reduce global climate emission. We also believe by 2022 we deploy electric buses in main services. We have created more than 6 policies on integrating electric car in our domain, national, ordinal, and also like on the railway. And unlike other countries who are global.
Your time is up.
We have to do a new moment.
Yes. So I'm looking favorably for another motion. Qatar?
Yes, Chair. If the Chair would please, the Republic of Qatar would like to introduce 1 minute 30 second speaking time on discussing various policies on electric car from the countries here.
Any other motions? Japan?
The delegation from Japan would like to introduce a motion of a 45-second speaking time to continue the topic that we were discussing before.
Okay. Voting on the 1 minute and 30 seconds for talking about policies. Favor? Another is 40 seconds to talk about what we're
45 seconds.
45 seconds, sorry. Speaking time on what we're going to be talking about. Okay, that passes. So
Okay, wait, pause. So typically, I just realized something. Typically at conferences, there's countries that obviously are for and against. I realized that all of our countries are for electric cars because the person who was supposed to be doing against electric cars couldn't make it today. But typically, just so you guys know, typically there's for and against. Continue.
So
Yeah, and then another thing is like when you see countries like voting, the voting process is you have to lobby other countries. You saw me lobbying with KCL, she's from Germany, because I didn't want to vote on my position. Because what happens is that when your position becomes, like when they vote on your position, you have an opportunity to speak. And when you speak, you provide better opportunity for your country to have like more, recognitions during the award ceremony.
And usually, we have motions of debate during Model UN so that we can understand the other countries' stances. And when we make resolutions for those countries, we tend to work together with those countries that have similar stances with us so we can get the resolutions that we want to pass.
Sure.
yeah. So usually at a conference, we come the first day. It takes a course of 4 days to come to a resolution. You come the first day with topic A, topic B. Right here, we just had one topic. But setting the agenda will be which topic are we going to be debating for the rest of the weekend? So that's usually how a conference starts off. And you have the countries coming up with a stance therefore we should discuss this topic because it's more important. And we make a final vote, and then yeah. So now we have a 45-second speaking time on the your positions on electric cars. Who would like to go first? Japan?
I requested that last.
Last. Qatar, you have 45 seconds now.
Thank you, Chair. Specifically for 45 speaking time, I would like to speak about Qatar's position on how challenging it is for countries like Germany and also Japan in their practice for the solution of electric car. Basically, electric car is responsible for considerable low emission, like I said previously in my first position. In my central statement, I quoted that in UK in 2019, the lifeline emission per kilometer of a driving distance is considerably connected to an electric car. Comparison between electric vehicle and conventional vehicle are complex, but when it comes to how important it is for climate and environmental sustainability, it becomes a very crucial aspect of our society. And as such, the Republic of Qatar would like to close to
Thank
say,
you, Qatar.
thank you, Chair.
Germany, you have 45 seconds.
So as of the end of 2020, Germany has become the third largest country to have electric cars, the biggest one being obviously the Teslas. As I mentioned in my previous position, Germany is working to do a lot of good things for the environment. We have passed different acts in order to ensure that the energy sources that we use are now being transferred towards renewable energy. In 2020, we were able to establish the Eco-Design Directive, which created to regulate products with the worst environmental performance. This meaning that whenever we designed anything,
Japan, you have 45 seconds.
Okay, thank you, Chair. To continue what I was mentioning, while Japan is in favor of electric cars, we don't want to establish electric cars quickly because of our stake in the hybrid car system. Japan is the has the number one investment in hybrid car systems, and we don't want to change that anytime soon. But however, we understand that there is an importance to having electric cars for Japan, and that's why we want to eliminate, we don't want to ban, we want to like try and phase out buying electric cars by 2020, by 2035. But we understand that there are a lot of disadvantages that we are trying to work out from. I yield my time.
Are there any other motions on the floor at this time?
Chair.
Yes, Qatar?
The Republic of Qatar would like to motion for a 45-second speaking time on climate change related to electric car. And I quote again, the Republic of Qatar would like to speak on a 45-second speaking time on climate change in relation with electric car.
Thank you. Are there any other motions, Japan?
The Republic of Japan would like a 45-second speaking time talking about the economic disadvantages to electronic cars.
Now we have a 45 seconds time for climate change in relation to electric cars. All those in favor, raise your placard. Okay, that passes. Qatar, you have the floor.
So in this order, you have to be ready, as a delegate, you have to be ready, skeptical in negotiating. So like the first thing you have to do is make friends, for it's political based.
I'm sorry.
Oh.
No, he's talking
Okay.
about.
I'm sorry. So like the first thing you have to make friends, but you have to be very smart to know that this is a political process and you can't trust your desk closer rival, only your delegate from your college you can trust. So like, but you have to negotiate and like ask to vote and stuff on your resolution. Alright, so
Okay, your time, speaking time starts now.
great. Thank you so much, Chair, for the opportunity. The Republic of Qatar thinks that global climate change should be a serious concern. We believe that environmental sustainability should be something that all of our countries in our world should stand for it. We hold in full resolution and acceptance of the Paris Peace Accord, and the Republic of Qatar is a signatory of the Paris Peace Accord. We are also a signatory of the UFSCC Accord as well, and we stand in full policies and proceedings to introduce new rules and regulations for climate change. We believe electric car is very sustainable for reduction of emission, like we have always said, and I think that's the best step forward.
Thank you.
I yield my time, Chair.
No problem.
So, for example, like if you have spare time, when you're speaking, you just have to tell your chair, like the moderator, that you yield your time, and then they end your speaking time.
Yeah, and then you can also use your time to your co-debaters. Like usually we have two persons that usually go from our college in specific rooms that will be debated. So like if I have more time and I want this year to speak, I will just say I use my time to my co-delegate, and then she will speak.
Or you could yield your time to questions.
Sure.
Yeah. And also we have like a speakers list. So I think that's like how we know like what order
Yeah.
of like conferences goes. But since we're like a small group, I'm letting them pick who's the second person to go. but yeah, usually the person who passes the motion could pass first or last.
Yeah, that's why I requested to go last for the last motion that I requested.
Okay, Germany next? Okay, your time starts now.
As mentioned previously, our stand on environmentally friendly resources and making sure that our environment, that we're doing things for our environment is a very, very big stance that we have. We have a tax, and our slogan is tax the bad, not the goods. Typically what our tax does is it taxes individuals who use environmentally unfriendly activities, especially using fossil fuels. So we've had this since 1951, but in 2017 we updated it by raising the tax to 65 cents per liter. And the reason why we do this is so that the money that is collected through that tax is used towards more environmentally friendly resources.
Thank you, Germany. Now we have Japan, your time starts now.
Thank you, Chair. So the Japanese believe that environmental sustainability is an important agenda that we should all try to pass and to all try to chase. And one of the major important environmental issues that is in Japan is air pollution, and that's due to the large technological advances that are in Japan and a lot of manufacturing that is happening in Japan. So in terms of electronic cars, we take that into mind when thinking about whether to integrate electronic cars completely into our society rather than and take out hybrid cars. But there are a lot of things that the Japanese have been thinking of, and it's like as long as their building of electronic cars continues to rely on fossil fuels to generate electricity, then this will remain a mirage. Thank you.
Thank you, Japan. Just a quick question. The other motions that weren't voted on, do I go back to those or are we taking new motions?
We take new ones.
Here's the new ones. Okay. At this point, I'm taking new motions. Yeah, Japan?
I would like to continue. I would like to 45 seconds speaking time to continue the topic that we were discussing.
Yes. Yes, Qatar?
Oh, I thought we were voting on that. I support that.
Oh, that's it? Okay. All those in favor for continuation? Okay, let's go. Japan, would you like first or last?
Last, please. Actually, first.
First, okay. 1, 2, 3, go.
So, just to be short, just to continue what I was saying, so like, we do believe that electronic cars will help the environment, but we are debating the extent on which it will help the environment. So Toyota, who is a really big car manufacturer in Japan, they plan on going carbon neutral by 2015, but as long as we continue on relying on fossil fuels to build our cars and to like generate our cars, then the whole stance on environmental benefits of these electronic cars will not be eminent and as sure as we originally planned it to be. Thank you. I use my time.
Up next.
Chair.
Yeah. Qatar?
Thank you so much for the time. The King of Qatar would like to expand on the process and procedure of climate change as it relates to electric car. Like I said previously and consistently, we are all for electric car. The King of Qatar believes that a national plan, which is our Vision 2030, a real frame, a national growth to have natural NDS. We have a full expansive plan to be able to go completely natural in terms of reduction of carbon emission, and the fact that we are one of the countries that have been faced with the adverse impact of climate change, especially in terms of sunlight and drought. We believe that electric car will be a best medium of reduction in our increasing growth of the nation. And so, thank you, Chair.
Germany.
I did want to also bring up a different point, that although we understand that electric cars are very important for our environment and Germany has been doing a lot of things for our environment, we also do understand that the majority of our economy does run on the automotive industry. We have 2 million jobs connected to the automotive industry, and introducing electric cars could probably damage that our economy. However, we are pushing that although this change to electric cars could bring some sort of economic downfall, we are pushing for it because of our major stand on environment.
Are there any motions on the floor? Yes, Japan?
1 minute speaking time to talk about the economic benefits for electronic cars,
Or disadvantage.
or disadvantages, yes.
Okay. Economic pros and cons. Anyone? Qatar?
Yes, Chair. The King of Qatar would like to raise a 45-second speaking time on the impact of electric car on gender equality.
Gender?
Yeah.
All those in favor for 1 minute speaking time on the economical pros and cons? Yes, that motion passes. Japan, would you like first, speak or last?
I would like to speak last.
Thank you. Germany? 1 minute. All right, you have 1 minute.
To continue the conversation I was talking about before, our economy heavily relies on the automotive industry. It is very important also to note that electric cars are very expensive to maintain and very expensive for us to have because of the fact that electric cars require there to be battery charging stations throughout the country. In order to have those battery charging stations throughout the country, they are very expensive to not only manufacture, but also to implement in different areas. Typically what you see in many countries, bigger countries, is that the electric car charging stations are typically found in bigger cities and not in the smaller, more rural areas. And that causes a shift in the amount of people that can actually have access to these cars. Because of COVID-19, the country has suffered a lot, and we believe that doing the shift right now to electric cars may not be beneficial as we are still trying to,
Qatar, you have the floor.
Thank you so much, Chair. Basically, the Republic of Qatar also, if you didn't know, we will be hosting the 2022 World Cup, and as such, a deep shift in technological jobs become very crucial for us as a country. And we will be hosting billions of people around the world. And I think what we definitely see as a strategy is the MOTC strategy that we have integrated. So the MOTC strategy calls for 2030 social, economic, environmental friendly situation. And also we see plug-in vehicle as a crucial means of expanding our services and transportation. And the economic advantage is that we stand to gain 6.8 billion annually, 6.8 billion monthly through these proceedings, and I think it's very helpful for our economy as well.
And finally, Japan, you have the floor.
To continue on the topic, thank you, Chair. To continue on the topic that Germany was talking about, the delegation from Germany was talking about, we believe that there would be some economic disadvantages and economic advantages. So to start off with the economic disadvantages, we believe that there would be a really big cost into our jobs, into our economy, because electronic cars take a lot less to manufacture. So cutting out a portion of the jobs would affect the economy. But however, the selling of electronic cars will generate large revenue for our country. So it will be worth about 900 billion in 2030 and about 1.8 trillion in 2050. And those are the numbers that include like sales and investment created by the new demand for electronic cars. And so being environmentally conscious is very important to Japan, and we believe that while we focus on decarbonization and electrification of the Japanese society, and it will help the private sector attain these goals. So making electronic cars will be beneficial for the economy. Thank you.
Thank you, Japan. The chair is looking favorably on an unmoderated caucus, but with that being said, is there any motions on the floor? Motion to close the meeting. Germany?
motion to close the debate.
All those in favor?
Another motion?
Oh, yes. Yeah.
A motion to take 1 minute closing arguments on the electronic chat.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
All those in favor for 1 minute closing remarks? Okay, good. Qatar, would you like to have first?
Qatar would diligently be privileged to take the last speaking opportunity.
Who'll go first? Germany, you have 1 minute.
Thank you, Chair. As stated before, Germany realizes that having electric cars will significantly impact our economy, but we also understand the position that Japan brought up about how having these electric cars will bring a lot of revenue. Currently, we are working towards shifting from regular automotive cars or even hybrid cars into electric cars because of the major stance that we have in environment and how we should be doing the best that we can in order to help our environment. I yield my time to the Chair.
Thank you. Japan?
Thank you, Chair. So to end off this debate, we would just like to summarize that the Japanese are in favor of electronic cars, but we do believe that we shouldn't go into it as fast as other countries have been coming into it, and that we should really be thinking about the cost for it. We have the economic cost, which is the jobs and the economy, but we also know that it causes a very large economic revenue. And we also know that there's not a lot of enthusiasm within the manufacturing industry in Japan itself due to the investment in hybrid cars. So and finally, knowing our environmental stances on air pollution, we believe that electronic cars should be part of our country even more, but in a later time. Thank you. I yield my time.
Thank you, Japan. And finally, we have Qatar.
The King of Qatar would like to remind delegates in our countries on what is at stake in terms of global climate change. The King of Qatar wholeheartedly believe that there are 416 parts per billion that are being concentrated on carbon CO in the atmosphere. In 2019, we recorded the warmest ever year in record according to the National Association of Science. Another aspect is we have 11% of all global greenhouses recorded in human history. These are all statistics that shows that we have just limited time to be able to make it right. And as a result of that, the King of Qatar wholeheartedly believe that we should be able to put a stronger measure, be innovative, be creative, be more progressive in terms of reduction of climate emission. And so we wholeheartedly support the new revolutions of electric car. We think this will be very helpful for our planet because there is no planet B, and the King of Qatar close on this note. Thank you.
Thank you, Qatar. So, yeah, that was closing remarks.
So that's basically,
Motion to close the debate.
Oh, yeah, to close the debate. Well, Japan's motion to close the debate passes. Thank you.
yeah, so that's typically how it runs. Like Emily said, this is something that lasts for about
4 days.
4 days, 3.5. What takes a lot of the time, or why it takes so long, is because, like she also mentioned, it's a global thing. So you have, like here there's just 4 of us, but in these conferences they can be up to 50, 100, depending what specific conference you're in. Yeah, and then, so we have different conferences we go to. Colombia, which is our local one here, we have that one. We have UPenn, so the school pays for us to go, and they also give us a meal, like a visa for meal money. So we don't have to pay for anything, we just have to show up. And obviously do our research and be prepared for the actual conference. And then the biggest one that we go to is in Harvard, so in Boston, and that one is the one that brings people from everywhere around the country.
And around the world too.
Yeah, around the world.
And then people from India, from Albania,
Africa, there's a lot of countries.
and Venezuela. I was surprised, but yeah.
Obviously, we haven't had any conferences recently because of the whole pandemic, but we are hoping to go back to having in-person conferences. I know that Colombia is having theirs in the fall, and that one's a lot smaller compared to all the other ones.
In Colombia, I think Colombia is crisis. So like what we're doing here, like Jesus says, General Assembly. crisis is more like a competitive aspect of it, like the way you have to just be given a topic and you have to like create an argument on the spot and work in real situations. And then at Harvard University, we have something called the Resolution Social Venture Project, where this year, our goal is to be able to come up with a very competitive project to be able to compete at Harvard University, which will be February this year. And UPenn is everyone's favorite. UPenn is like our favorite
Yeah, it's our
quality
favorite.
conference.
Yeah,
It's really literally amazing. And like, so
The venture, I want to add on the venture program. So, if you have like an idea, like something to like a service or like a project that could like help make change into your community, you present that there and they'll give you investing money. They give you $5,000 if you win the project to like start that thing, that idea that you present.
sure.
Yeah, it's like seed money.
It's like seed money. So you need like who's gonna be in charge of this, who's gonna be in charge of that. Like it's a whole thing that requires a lot of work, but I think people should look into it.
And we definitely get our recruiting. Like if you see our seniors next year probably leaving, you don't have to be expert in debate or maybe like know all of these things are hard. Basically, we learn them just on the basis of commitment and passion. And so if you want to be part of the Model UN program out of mouth, like don't hesitate to join. We have this semester our goal is to be more competitive as possible in these conferences. So we'll have like practices on how to be able to build your argument, how to create resolution and all those things. And yeah, hopefully we can be able to bring a couple of awards this year to the Mount. We are excited about it.
Yeah, so that's it for us. Thank you so much for coming and thank you for watching.
Also, if you have any questions, just feel free to hit us up on Instagram, CMSV Model UN Team, or any of us on Instagram if you know us or not, or email Dr. Wong. She is our advisor, so she'll let you know more if you have any questions. But thank you so much for coming.
Thank you guys.
Thank you.